If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints of the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by California Army National Guard, Naturewood Home Furnishings, and RVs of Sacramento.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own one report.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for my friends at Fire Wings talking about Wings Day Wednesday. That's right, 88-cent wings every Wednesday. 3-flavor lineup includes 7 classic, 7 dry rub, and 7 fusion wing flavors. It's the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. A great place to watch and enjoy sports with friends. 21 delicious flavors to choose from. Save time. Order online for pickup or delivery. Just go to firewings.com or download the app, find a location near you, order online, earn rewards. Fire Wings, just wing it.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Take it on the local level.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Sacktown Sports.
And welcome into the UC Davis Magazine Show, our spring edition here, as there's a lot going on with UC Davis Athletics now. That the men and women both in the Big West Conference Tournament for basketball. They're heading to Henderson, Nevada this week. We will talk to head coach Jim Les coming up here in just a moment. We're going to hear from women's head coach Jennifer Gross coming up in the next segment. And, of course, later on today, we'll hear from football coach Tim Plow as the Aggies finished up spring practice. Really winter practice, but spring practice that wrapped up at UC Davis Health Stadium on Saturday afternoon. We'll get a recap on how that went and everything going on with Aggie football as well. But right now, joining me, the head coach for the men's basketball team, Jim Les. And Coach, it's always great to have you here. It's great to have you in our YouTube tonight as well.
Glad and I was actually able to figure it out this time.
Hey, it only
just said to my wife, Jody, who I'm on her laptop, and she's the technological wizard of the family.
Hey, it only took till the end of the season, so at least we made it happen. No problem there. It was well worth the wait. And obviously, Coach, this is March Madness. This is what you live for as a college basketball coach, the best month of the year. And right now you've got your Aggies primed into a great position heading into the conference tournament here on Friday night.
Well, Scott, and we've talked about it. You know, there's nothing better than this time of year playing meaningful games. And we've been playing meaningful games for a while now. And that's a mindset that we wanted our team to focus on and kind of, relish and be able to perform under, those types of conditions of accountability and responsibility. And this game is important. It was huge for us to get the 2 seed and to get the double bye. And because of that, we had to play in some big games. And now, to me, that gives you a sense of readiness as you head into Henderson and understanding that all these games and possession by possession are extremely important.
Yeah, for sure. And your team faced some adversity along the line. You got off to a great start to start league plays. You beat UC Santa Barbara, a team that many thought would be the eventual Big West Conference champion. You got off to a nice roll, but then you went through a stretch there where you lost a few. but now you've found your rhythm again, having won the last 3 games. You won on senior night against Hawaii, and then this weekend trip, the win at UC San Diego, a team that had not lost in conference play at all, only their second home loss of the year. The other one against San Diego State on a tip-in at the buzzer, and then to finish off Long Beach State on Saturday. You've got to like the position of the team right now.
Well, I do like their response to adversity. You know, all the time during a season, you're going to have peaks and valleys. And when you're in those valleys, you kind of find out a lot about yourself and your group. And I thought this group was connected. I thought they took the losses and the fact that we weren't playing as well as we were capable. They were taking it personally. And guys really made a conscious effort to turn it around, especially on the defensive end. You know, I thought our focus shifted a little bit too much to, hey, we're going to shoot ourselves out of adversity versus, you know, we're going to dig in and roll them up and get after people defensively and get a little more physical and aggressive on that end. Finish our defense with first rebounds. And it's amazing how the offense flows so much easier when you do those things and impact the game without the ball. And fortunately, we've gotten back to that, and that gives us good momentum heading into the tournament.
Yeah, it does indeed. Now you put up 88 on Saturday in the win against Long Beach, but prior to that, holding a very good San Diego team to just 63 points. You're 15-2 in games where you've held opponents under 70 points this year, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I can't say it enough. And the other thing, Scott, that I really liked in these last 3 games is, and we got this in the start, we were getting really good bench production. The level of intensity and execution when we go to the bench has really stayed consistent. And guys are coming in, they're making plays, they're getting their hands on balls, they're taking charges. They're making the right plays offensively and keeping the game simple. And it's really nice when you can buy time for Elijah and Ty and Ade Kane to come out of the game and catch a breather. And it allows us to sustain a level of intensity that is important to us and important to how we want to play.
Yeah. Now, you know, you're playing in the semifinal. Again, you get the double bye, so you start right at the semifinals Friday night at 8:30. You don't know your opponent yet. It'll be the winner of the game against UC Santa Barbara and CSUN, who play on Wednesday. The winner advances, takes on Hawaii. And then the winner of that game, you will play in the semi. So as you're going through practice this week, I know you guys are going down on Wednesday to Vegas. How are you taking these 3 days of practice when you don't necessarily know who your opponent's going to be?
Yeah, it's interesting. And plus it's a little bit out of routine because you don't play. We play Saturday and we don't play again till Friday. So that's a little bit different. So one, it's good mental and physical rest for the guys. So we've incorporated just, you know, a little bit of recovery and rehab and lifting initially. And then, you know, our staff, and I'm fortunate to be blessed with great coaches around me. So between Kev, Kyle, and Jono, you know, they're dividing up the scouts and being ready for whatever could happen. You know, you don't know who's going to win and who you're going to play. And those guys are focusing on what potential opponents we could face, and which allows me time just to focus on us. I'm watching a little bit extra tape, breaking down some of our games offensively and defensively. And you're never going to make wholesale changes at this time, but you want to be able to tweak some things or add some wrinkles that are a little bit different that maybe you didn't show during the regular season that you can bring out here in the postseason, and maybe someone hasn't seen it. Maybe it gets you a bucket or two, or, you know, maybe it allows you to break a rhythm defensively because you're going to change up some of your coverages and schemes on defense. Sometimes that's just enough in a close ball game to get a win.
Yeah, no doubt. And universally, Jim, you are considered one of the best diagrammers of plays out of timeouts and certainly along the baseline. Talk about that. I know Coach Williams, who I do the TV games with, loves to say you run a lot of NBA action out of certain situations, out of bounds and out of timeouts. Would you agree with that?
Well, I'd like to say I'm an innovator, but I'm probably a better stealer. You know, again, my wife can vouch that I'm watching a lot of games, and there's a pad and paper next to me. And thank goodness for all the modern technology and rewind. You know, I just, you know, try to become a student of the game. And, I think as a coach, my mindset is, how can we as a staff put our players in the best position to be successful? And so I think you want to constantly be innovative. You want to constantly look at other teams and how they play, NBA and college. And then you look at wrinkles of what they do. And yeah, I like that. And wait, if I can tweak it a little bit, I think that fits our personnel a little bit better. So it just gets the creative juices flowing. And, my pregame ritual while the guys are out warming up and, they're going through their pregame routine, I'm back in the locker room kind of reviewing all the different options we have, a baseline out of bounds that we could draw up, or a sideline out of bounds, maybe some special sets just to get guys some good looks. And, to me, that's added value for the players. And I'm fortunate too, because we have really smart guys. There's a lot of teams that can't take, in a 60-second timeout, a quick draw up and be able to walk out on the floor and execute it. And fortunately, we've got really smart guys at the 5th best public school in the country, way smarter than their coach. And they can take some of my, and my penmanship is not great either, Scott, and you've seen it. So,
oh yes.
They take a lot of the, gibberish that I write down, and X's and O's and lines and, arrows going different places. And they seem to be able to absorb it and then go out and produce and execute it.
Yeah, no doubt. It does look like an old style, like Aramaic language or something sometimes when you're writing down on that clipboard, but it's effective. And I'd love to see the analytics, because I'm no doubting that you guys have one of the highest percentages in terms of out of bounds plays and after timeouts and all of that. You guys do a tremendous job. And you're right. You do have a very smart team. You have a very capable team. And, it starts with Elijah Pepper, your All-American senior, who has just had an incredible senior year, the all-time leading scorer in UC Davis history, now the number 2 all-time leading scorer in the Big West Conference. And he's a guy who has led you all season long, and obviously will be a guy who leads you as far as you're going to get here coming up in March.
Yeah, it's just, I'm so happy and proud of him. And, here's a guy that lived out his dream of coming to Davis. He's going to graduate from Davis. He's been loyal, in this advent of the transfer portal and NIL and players being wooed year in and year out, and it's almost open free agency. He had opportunities to leave and stayed. And you love to see that loyalty, hard work, high character rewarded. Karma's undefeated. And, they've given him the senior year that he deserves in the way he's played, the respect he's gotten from not just in our league, but across the country. And I think this year will be a great springboard for Elijah to play for pay, play professionally, and do it for a long time.
Yeah, no doubt. We're talking with Jim Less here, and we're in our YouTube chat room as well at Sacktown Sports 1140. You can join us as well if you want. And with Eli, obviously he had 30 points on senior night. He had the matchup with Bryce Pope. I know it was UC Davis versus UC San Diego, but a lot of people thought Pope versus Pepper could be the matchup for the Big West Player of the Year. He shined brightly with 28 more points in that game. And I know we're still awaiting the postseason awards to come out, unless you have something I don't, because I haven't seen them yet. But no doubt in my mind that Eli Pepper should be the Big West Player of the Year.
No, and I'm biased, but he absolutely should be. And it's not just the scoring, as you know, Scott, because you get to see him a lot. It's the steals. He's second or third in the league in steals. It's rebounds. How many nights does he get 6 or 7 or 8 and, averages 5+ rebounds? It's the playmaking and assists. It's taking charges. He is not a one-dimensional basketball player, and that's what makes him unique, and in my opinion makes him the MVP of our league, hands down.
Yeah, agreed. And Jim, you're lucky because you have not only the best backcourt in the Big West Conference, but one in the very best in the entire country, the second highest scoring duo in the country as we're speaking right now. And T.Y. Johnson, you went out and got him from Loyola of Chicago, and Ezra Mannion, who was terrific too, transferred to Vanderbilt, and he succeeded there. But you brought in T.Y., and boy, he has just not let off anything in terms of your backcourt. He has really stepped up this year and had a tremendous year.
No, Ty he's a special talent. He's got elite speed from end to end. He's one of the fastest guys in the country, and he has a knack for finishing around the basket. He absorbs hits, he delivers hits, and he can contort his body and finish plays at the rim like there aren't too many guys that I've seen. And what's also a testament to how he's playing is his work ethic, Scott, and you mentioned it the other day, is the development of his mid-range game. Yeah. You know, it's a guy who cares a lot about being a good player and spending time in the gym and doing it the old-fashioned way and just getting his reps. And, you know, there are times when he pulls up for mid-range shot and I'm thinking there's no chance he misses it, because that's how effective he's been in that area. He's improved his three-point shooting, his free throw shooting, you know, is up in the 80s during league play, and that's important for your point guard who's handling the ball late in games. And we haven't even talked about the defensive end, and he's one of the best on-ball defenders in the country with his speed, and he's got a knack for not getting screened. And as a guard who ran into a lot of screens back in the day, I would have loved to have his ability. It would have helped out my body a lot, because being able to dodge and defeat screens like he can with his instincts and his athleticism is really unique, and it causes a lot of problems for the other team's point guards. And we put him on a lot of times, just a guy that gets hot, and it's amazing how he can cool them off in a hurry with those attributes.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Jim, you in college were a part of a great backcourt duo. You and Hersey Hawkins going way back. You guys were elite too. Your senior class, obviously, Adi Adebayo, Niko Rocek, who has stepped up in a big-time way for you, especially on that defensive end, and then Kane Milling, who has come through, and he had 24 big points on Saturday. And if he can be that third consistent scorer in Henderson, it gives you a really great chance to get to the tournament.
No, and that's huge for us. I mean, we're focusing and talking a lot about our defense, but it does provide room for T.Y. and Elijah when we can add that third score, and Kane's been able to do it. Plus, the other night I like to, you come off the bench and Leo, hits a three, gets a couple buckets with some free throws. Sione gets a putback in. Ade gets 6 points. Those are all huge to give us production and not feel like you have to depend on T.Y. and Eli every time down the floor when those guys are stepping up and they're confident. And I think they're understanding the attention those two are getting, and it's given them good looks. And we've been pretty adamant. Hey, be aggressive. We want you shooting those shots, shoot them with confidence. And hey, we're not asking you to make them. We're asking you to shoot them. We'll live with the result. And those guys are playing at a high level and very confidently on that end of the floor, which helps.
Yeah, no question. Well, the last time you got back to the NCAA tournament, it was in 2017, and you talk about defensive battles. It was 50-47 when you won that game against UC Irvine. Britton Lamar came through with 22 points, but it was a slugfest. And obviously, if you get into a finals and you match up with UC Irvine, perhaps, that don't want to get ahead of anything. But obviously, you've had two epic battles with them so far. Finish with this. We talked about the seniors and the bench. Curious, Jack Manny, your freshman who's been injured the last couple of years, came in and gave you some really good minutes against Long Beach State. Is he a guy you could look at potentially using in the postseason? I know it's so late in the year, but he was so impressive on Saturday, Jim.
No, he really was. And, this has been a gradual progress, and credit Jack, who's been working really hard in practice and also getting stronger and healthier. And credit Coach Nosek, who spent a lot of time with him, not only on the floor, but also in the video room and watching tape. And, it's hard when you miss as much time as he did, and all of a sudden you're thrown into, hey, it's league season, and you're thrown into the fire. That's not necessarily a recipe for success, but he's had a great attitude and work ethic, and he's worked hard in practice. And we told him before Long Beach, hey, we want to get you some minutes. And he was ready and produced, and it gives you confidence going into this tournament because it's going to be all hands on deck. And you never know, foul trouble or somebody goes down. And we felt good coming out of that last regular season game that we were able to get into our bench and get guys minutes because you never know who you're going to depend on and who we're going to need.
Yeah, no question, especially multi-game situation. When you guys did get to the big dance, Mikey Henn, who was a little used redshirt freshman that year, came in with some big minutes in your championship game. So who knows who could be the unsung hero? Perhaps you have your stars in Pepper and Johnson, but who will step up and maybe get you to the big dance? Jim, appreciate the time. We're excited to be along the run for you. We'll be carrying the game on Friday night at 8:30. The games are going to be on ESPN2 as well. If you win on Friday, you'll play for the championship on Saturday. That's a 6:30 tip. That'll be on ESPN2 as well. Jim, it's been great working with you all season long, and hopefully we're just getting started here.
Sounds good, Scotty. We got a lot more to play, I hope.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks for the time, Jim. We'll see you down in Henderson in a few days.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Yep. That's Jim Less, head basketball coach for the men. We'll take the break. When we come back, Jennifer Gross, head women's basketball coach at UC Davis. We'll be talking to her and breaking down the women's side of the bracket. The Aggies will be heading to Henderson. They will play on Wednesday at noon. Their path to a NC2A tournament berth will be a little bit more challenging. We'll get into that when we come back. This is the UC Davis Aggies magazine show right here on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
It's a toss to McCaffrey, a cutback run 30, breaks free 40, McCaffrey midfield, McCaffrey 40, 30, 20, and toasting it all the way down to the 3-yard line on the first play of the game. CMC Dynamite!
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
Sky's the limit at Sky River Casino in Elk Grove. Enjoy over 80 table games, more than 2,100 slot machines, and our thrilling high-limit room with Sky River rewards that add up and up, and 18 elevated restaurants and bars. There's something for everyone. Visit skyriver.com today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can. In the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Terms and conditions apply. Your mobile carrier's availability and message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
National Ping Club Fitter of the Year, Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is introducing the straightest, most forgiving Ping driver ever with the new Ping G430 Max 10K driver. A fixed back weight, Ping's largest head profile, and a carbon fly wrap crown help G430 Max 10K launch the ball higher with less spin for consistently longer and straighter results. Schedule your fitting and see for yourself at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue to Cap City Freeway, or online at HagenOaks.com.
Guys, this month only, Revive Men's Health Sacramento offers qualified patients a free supply of ED medication to kickstart their treatment and enhance intimacy. Book your free T-Check exam and consultation today. Call 916-365-4566 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
The sewer system. It's probably the last thing on your mind, and that's okay. Because at the Sacramento Area Sewer District, it's our first priority. As the region's largest sewer utility, we own and maintain thousands of miles of sewer pipe. And our job is to get to your sewer problem before it interrupts your life. So whether you've got a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night. The Sacramento Area Sewer District. It's a dirty job, but we're happy to do it.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton and Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton and Price in your corner. When you call Ashton and Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real live person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Ever since we got Xfinity, we have Wi-Fi all over the house. Even in my hiding spots.
Ha! Found you.
How?
That's wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Now through March 21st, get started with 200 megabit internet for $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract and get Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless bill and auto-pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary.
Welcome back into the UC Davis Aggies Magazine show right here, Sacktown Sports 1140. Scott Marsh with you here. Jay Johnson across the way. Appreciate Jay staying an extra hour after working on the Drive Guys this afternoon. Him and Whitey Gleason doing a great job. We talked to Gymless men's basketball. Got caught up on their run. They'll be the 2 seed in Henderson. They start on Friday night at 8:30. As for the women, they will play Wednesday morning, the very first game of the tournament at noon. Joined now by head women's coach Jennifer Gross. And Jen, thanks for taking some time out to catch us up on everything about the women's program right now. How are you, Jen?
Doing great. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate you having me.
Yep. And I know it's a quick turnaround for you because obviously you'll be heading to Vegas tomorrow, the noon game on Wednesday. You finished up great at home. You swept the weekend, and on senior day, of course, got the win against Long Beach 70-58. And Jen, it was so fun to watch that game because you started your seniors and your first 3 buckets all came from 3 of your seniors. It was very fitting to start that game.
Yeah, one of those moments where you just, you can't script it anymore perfectly. 3 seniors that have meant so much to the program, have been through so much, have won championships with the program. So to have them on the court and get us going like that, it was pretty special. It was a really cool moment.
Yeah, Lena Swemholm and Campbell Gray, Evan Turner. And of course, with Evan Turner, she's the 4th all-time leading scorer in UC Davis history. And if you're going to make a run, obviously you'll be riding her shoulders quite a bit. Can you tell us about her and her impact on the women's program over her time at UC Davis?
Yeah, I think one moment that kind of is telling of the kind of competitor that Evan is. It was her freshman year, and she was coming off the bench and playing some minutes for us in the rotation. And we had, one of our seniors who was a starter for us had gone down with a hand injury right before we were set to play Stanford, who at the time was, I think, either 1 or 2 in the nation. And so we go to Stanford, and I say to Evan, look, you're going to get to start today. I know you're a freshman, but you've been playing in these, you've been ready for this moment. You're that kind of competitor. You're ready to go. And she comes out and hits 4 threes in the first quarter to start us off. And we battled with Stanford all the way, ended up losing by a couple buckets at the end. But she's been doing that since she stepped on the court for us. And every year just adds more and more to her game and really is a leader for us on the court. And she plays with a ton of energy. She's a lot of fun to watch. And I'm excited for her to finish up strong here.
Yeah, she's been one of the all-time greats for you, no question. Now, you did get the weekend sweep, but you got a little unlucky in terms of the seedings because, unfortunately, you were in the 3-way tie at 13-7. Riverside won, Cal Poly won as well. And the way the Big West tiebreaker worked, you ended up losing the tiebreakers with Riverside and Poly. So you get the 5 seed, which means you have to play on Wednesday, which means you have to play 4 games to win the tournament. That's certainly not the situation you've been in for a lot of years, Jen, the 5-time reigning, Big West Coach of the Year going back from 2017 to 2021. So what's this year's journey like as you're looking at it right now?
Yeah, obviously we were rooting for some teams this weekend. It didn't work out for us, unfortunately. It's funny how it works, how, we did have some success against, the top of the conference, but it just got so locked up in the middle there. But that's okay. Every year you do your best and the chips are going to fall where they fall. And in this situation, the tie breaks didn't go our way, but we've certainly been in the other side where we've had the 2, the double buys and we've been sitting back and waiting. And that's not an easy situation either. You're always going to be facing somebody that's just won and that's played in that arena. And so that's what I told our team. I said, you know what? We're in a great situation. We're going to bring everything we've got. We're going to take it 1 game at a time. We're just going to be ready to, as they say, survive and advance. And I think, unfortunately we had a couple injuries this past week, but fortunately we got other people that were able to get some key minutes and step up. And I think that really is going to play well to our depth, and we're going to need it, to win 4 games in 4 days. But we're really approaching it where we're just we're having fun. I think our team is peaking at the right time. We played some great basketball this week, and we're just gonna go and enjoy the moment and see what we can do. I still don't think we've played our best basketball yet, and I'm excited to see that hopefully Wednesday.
Yeah, we all are, of course. And, you're heading to Vegas, so you're kind of playing with house money right now. You can just let it fly and see how things work out, right? You're not the pressure that you're the team to beat this year. So
right.
You can go in there and just have a little bit different mindset and see if you can get on a run.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, we still have high expectations for ourselves, but you're right. The pressure's not on us; it's on the other teams. And we know what it takes. Though you got to be real consistent. You got to come out with a ton of energy. We're going to need lots of different people stepping up. We're going to have to get it done with our defense. So we're ready to do that.
Well, one thing that could help too, if you shoot the 3 ball like you did on Saturday, 13 of 24, it was raining threes at the UCU on Saturday. I mean, it was a tremendous shooting display on Saturday, Coach.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, this team has the ability to do that. There's been games where we're hot right from the start. There's been games where we have to rely on our defense a little bit more to keep us in it, and then we hope for a stretch late where we catch fire. But that certainly would be nice if we could come out firing like we did the other night. I mean, I think we're pretty tough because we have so many different people that can shoot the 3, including our 5s, including our bigs, so I'm hoping that we'll be clicking and that it'll be raining for the Ags this weekend.
Yeah, we talked about your seniors, but Tova Sable, she got the Big West Player of the Week. That honor just came down today. She's the junior transfer from Penn State, and obviously she's playing very well for you right now.
Yeah, she's one that, came off, she transferred in last year and had a big scoring year for us, and has just been a little bit up and down with her shooting. And so this week it's been great. And, she kind of set the tone for us on Thursday, had an amazing game against UC San Diego, kind of put us on her back in that game, and played well again on Saturday. So that's really exciting. When you have multiple weapons, when you have people that can stretch the floor, it makes you a lot tougher. So really happy to see her play so well this week and hopefully carry that momentum into Wednesday.
We're talking with head coach Jennifer Gross, women's basketball over at UC Davis. And Jen, one of my disappointments throughout the year is just we don't have a chance to talk a lot. We talked before the season started, and now we're catching up right towards the tail end, and hopefully we're going to see you for a while down in Henderson. But I always love to just get your thoughts. I'm so encouraged about where the women's game is right now. And obviously Caitlin Clark is not just the story of women's basketball. She's not just the story of college basketball, but you have NBA people talking about Caitlin Clark more than NBA games right now. And I just want to get your thoughts in terms of her accomplishments and what it's meant for the game as far as you see it.
Oh yeah, she's tremendous. I mean, if you're a sports fan in general, you can't not watch her play. She brings so much excitement to the game. Obviously, people have compared her to the likes of Steph Curry, which, she brings that sort of joy to the court. I think that's what I've always loved about Steph is just that he plays with so much joy, and you see that when you see Caitlin, and obviously she's just a walking bucket, but, she's just one of many of the storylines I think going on in women's basketball this year. Obviously you have Juju Watkins at USC, who's, put up 50-point games, and it's showing just the growth of the game and how exciting women's basketball is. And, the numbers don't lie. The viewership is skyrocketing. They're comparing, hey, you got this Iowa State, Ohio State game on at the same time as the Celtics, Lakers game, and the numbers are similar, and it's pretty cool. So I'm just so excited to see where our game is going. And, I feel like the exciting thing is there's no ceiling. It's just players are getting more and more skilled. They're playing more basketball growing up. And so I think you're going to see the women's game even growing more. And I love that people are enjoying it.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. And obviously the WNBA starting to take off as well with what the Las Vegas Aces have been able to do, and so many good things there. You talked about USC defeating Stanford and Juju Watkins and what she did for the Trojans. And, just from a coaching standpoint too, with Tara Vanderveer breaking Coach K's record for most victories, and then Gio Auriemma coming in and doing it too. You've just got some legendary coaches, and I know you know both of them very personally, just from the coaching ranks. It's so great for the game as well.
Yeah, obviously we had a game against Gino in UConn, or a couple games a few years back. I don't know him quite as well, but with Tara, we've developed a friendship over the years, and so I'm just, it's really, really fun to see the success, and, especially when you know the person and how down to earth they are, and how, yes, I mean, she's a competitor and wants to win, but she just wants to help grow the game. She's quick to call if she thinks she can help me in some way, or any young coach. She's a resource, she's a mentor. It's really great. And to have people like that are passing along the knowledge and, being tremendous mentors for young coaches, it just talks a lot about this, what women's basketball is all about. And, while everybody is, obviously focused on their team and wanting their team to do well, it's really about the game growing. And I love that.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's been such a great year for women's basketball, and it's been really, really fun to watch. And there's a lot more to play here. So, Coach, in the last couple of minutes we have, give us a preview of just the Big West Conference tournament and what we can expect to see down in Henderson.
Yeah, I mean, I think this year more than any, it's there's just a ton of parity. You look up and down, you have different teams that have knocked off the top teams. There's I don't know. I think as soon as you step in, you get off the plane in Vegas and you get to Henderson, it's a whole different ballgame, right?
Yep.
We saw that last year. We saw a lot of the top seeds go down early with overtime, double overtime games, and everybody's just fighting for their lives. That's kind of the feeling you get. Everybody brings everything they have, and it's so much fun to be a part of. And so, the first year we were in Henderson, we got to cut down the nets, from our program, and that was really special. And so, it would be pretty amazing to make another run here for us. And for us, obviously, we're just focused on one game at a time. So we're going to get there, get ready to play Cal State Fullerton on Wednesday, and hopefully we can keep playing. But I think there's going to be, there has been every year. There's just so much great basketball and a lot of exciting finishes, and both on the men's and women's side. I do want to congratulate Coach Les and our men's program for earning those double buys. That's big time. It's going to be fun. Hopefully we'll be there through the week to cheer them on as well, and see what they can do. So it'll be a fun week for UC Davis and the basketball programs.
It absolutely will. March Madness is in full bloom, but hopefully both the women and the men are cutting down those nets on Saturday. Jen, I really appreciate your time. I know you're busy. You're getting ready to leave tomorrow, and we'll be ready to root on your Aggie team all week long in Henderson. Thanks so much for the time.
Thanks, Scott. I appreciate it.
All right, go Ags. That's Jennifer Gross, women's head coach at UC Davis. We'll take the break. When we come back, we're going to turn our attention to some football. Tim Plow, the new football coach at UC Davis, just wrapped up spring practice. I know it's March, but their spring practice, they do it in the winter. They had their big spring game out there on Saturday. We'll talk all about that and everything else going on with the UC Davis football team. That's coming up next. It's the UC Davis Magazine Show right here on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Snatch the Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
When accidents turn life upside down, AutoAccident.com is in your corner. Compassionate advice, loyal support, and the courage to fight for you. AutoAccident.com. That's AutoAccident.com.
My wife and I both, we ended up mildly sick for a few months, and the nasal congestion was probably the worst part. I had like a post-nasal drip, just super congested all the time. We were taking everything we possibly could, but nothing really worked.
Kyrie was miserable until a friend recommended Navage. Navage offers immediate drug-free congestion relief, flushing your nasal passages with refreshing saline and sucking out mucus, germs, and other airborne irritants. Don't live in misery this cold season. Use Navage so you can breathe easier, sleep better, and feel your best right away.
The biggest thing Navage has done has completely cleaned out my nasal passages. It was from the first use. I was able to just clear out anything that was stopping me from breathing correctly. Navage helps me clear the way, literally clear the way, for me to operate better in the rest of my life.
Experience the Navage difference yourself. Navage is available at Navage.com or at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E.
Lead generation is one of the most important aspects of any marketing campaign. Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products or services to them. Go to aimyourdigital.com today. aimyourdigital.com.
Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers. And if you've even thought of replacing your old, outdated, inefficient windows, now is the time to take action.
Right now at Bell Brothers, when you buy one window, you'll get the second one for 30% off. That's right. Buy one, get the second one 30% off.
That's real savings, up to $6,000. You have to buy at least 4 windows to qualify, and you can't mix windows and doors. But beyond that, every second window is 30% off.
For example, when you buy 10 windows, you will get 5 windows at 30% off. We also have 0% interest financing available for qualified buyers. Call for details.
To take advantage of our buy one, get one 30% off sale, call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234 or find us online at theNoSurpriseGuys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
It's Carmichael Day with a Fire Wings announcement. The Florin Road location now serves pizza, and oh my goodness, it's so good. Don't forget the Wings Day Wednesday lineup, 88-cent wings every Wednesday. You got 21 delicious flavors to choose from and the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. Save time and order online. Go to firewings.com or download the app, find a location near you, order online, and earn rewards. Fire Wings, just wing it.
Welcome back into the UC Davis Aggies Magazine Show. We're awaiting head football coach Tim Plow. He'll be joining us momentarily. Our thanks again to Jim Less and to Jennifer Gross for joining us earlier on. Such an exciting time of the year. It is March Madness, and of course, this is the time of year that people start paying attention to college basketball. March, everybody fills out a bracket. Everybody wants to be a part of the big dance. In every school, the thing that makes the tournament so incredible is the fact that every team has a chance to make the tournament. So, you know, schools like UC Davis can win their conference tournament, get into the big dance, and then maybe pull off the upset of all time. And boy, it would be if the men are able to get into the tournament. The latest projections, if you look at Joe Lunardi and some of the other bracketology, it says that the Aggies would be a 15 seed, which means they would be most likely looking at a team like North Carolina or Arizona, Marquette, Iowa State. So, I mean, you're talking about the blue bloods of college basketball, no doubt about it. When the Aggies went to the NCAA tournament in 2017, they made it to the first 4, so they weren't actually seeded in the tournament. They beat North Carolina Central. And that was really cool because it was a first round game. So they got credit for winning an NCAA tournament game. And then they directly flew from Dayton, where that was held, to Tulsa to take on Kansas. And that was really cool because that was a nationally televised game. Of course, Reggie Miller, Kevin Harlan on the call. All the players got to meet Reggie, take pictures with them. The shoot around the day before, there were 10,000 people in attendance just to watch the shoot around. It was an experience that obviously the UC Davis players had never had before. And it was really once in a lifetime that everybody will remember forever to be a part of that big dance. So As for the Aggie women, they've been there plenty of times too. It's a little different because the first 2 rounds of the women's tournament are held on site. So a lot of times UC Davis, when they've made it, they've had to play at Stanford or they've had to play at Oregon. It's somewhat based on regional seedings. So, but the women, if they're able to get in this time, it would be remarkable because they're going to have to win 4 games to do it. All right. We're joined now by head football coach out at UC Davis, Tim Plout, as the Aggies are coming off the end of their spring practice. Now, we know it actually happened in winter quarter. We're still calling it spring ball. And Tim, it's great to have you on with us. And how did everything go on Saturday for the Ags?
Hey, Scott, thanks for having me. Yeah, it was a good day for us. You know, it's kind of the first time we've done a spring game like that where we invite the community out, and had a big junior recruiting day. Had about 250 recruits and families on campus, and was able to get through the game healthy as well. So it was a good day.
Health's always an important thing. And I know this is something that's really important to you as you take over. You really want to make this spring game a big deal for people to come out, make it a huge community thing where people could just enjoy it. And I know you had fans out on the field. And so when we call it a game, it is a game that you're playing and everybody's padded up, but it's more about a celebration and kind of a culmination of everything you've done through the 15 practices leading up to this.
No doubt. You know, for us, I think we've done a poor job in the past as a program of just inviting the community out, but also kind of pulling the curtain back and letting everybody just be a part of it with us. So we had about 2,000 people out there total, which is probably 2,000 more than we've normally had. And again, our hope was, hey, if we can have a decent turnout this year, then hopefully next year, maybe get a little bit more. Next year, get a little bit more. And then, down the road, this becomes a big event for us.
No doubt. Just grow one step at a time. Now, Dan Hawkins, when he took over the program, he moved what's traditionally spring practice to the winter quarter. And the thought behind that was he really wanted to allow the student athletes a chance to get internships and things like that in the spring if they wanted to travel overseas, whatever they wanted to do to kind of complement the athletic athletic experience with the educational one. Is that something that you plan on continuing in the future?
Yeah, I was here when Hawk first came back in 2017 and chose to do that, and I thought he hit it out of the park with that. And that's one of the reasons we really wanted to continue the same tradition of winter ball provides 2 things for us. It provides an opportunity for our strength coach to have 10 straight weeks with our guys in the spring, getting them prepared for summer. And the other thing it does is, like you talked about, Scott, it allows our guys to just be students, it allows them to just be students at UC Davis in the spring. And, basically they're just training with the strength coach. But after that, they're doing internships. They could study abroad if they want to. And it just gives them a chance to really explore Davis and just be a student for a little bit and maybe turn the engines off on the football for 10 weeks other than just working out. And then they can get their minds right for summer.
Yeah, we're talking with football coach Tim Plow. And Tim, you mentioned it. Yeah, you were the offensive coordinator for Dan Hawkins early in his tenure. Then you moved on to Boise State, had the same position there. Last year at Cal as a wide receivers coach before taking on this job at UC Davis. So you've seen football at the highest level. Obviously, everybody right now is just so fascinated with what's going on at the sport, and obviously with the moves in the SEC and everything going on with the playoff picture and just transfer portals and NIL and everything else. I got to think it's an interesting time for you to become a head coach. And how are you absorbing all of it?
Yeah, I mean, to say that college football has changed in just the last few years would be an understatement. I think, my stance on it really is from 2 places. The first thing is that, it's about time that the student athletes are getting compensated for, what they're doing on the field for us and on the court for us in that regard. And the type of revenue that's created through college athletics, the fact that the students have not seen any part of that has been a real shame. So the fact that that's starting to come back around, that's the way it should be. Unfortunately, there's no regulation of this from the NCAA. And so what you have right now for this time period is a real wild, wild west scenario where with no relegations and with no salary cap and with no real structure to it, it's just kind of do whatever you can. And so there are certain programs that have the financial capability to just go buy players and stack their roster with as many guys as possible. And then there's other programs that don't have that kind of financial stability to be able to do that. And so there's a real separation right now between the haves and the have-nots. One of the real attractive things to me about FCS football and with UC Davis in general is that it might be the last true form of amateurism and amateur athletes, and not that we don't have great players here that could deserve some name, image, and likeness, and we're trying to get that set up for them. But we don't have to worry about the type of competition that's going on in those upper levels where you're trying to get a $15 million roster set up. For us, we can just recruit the best high school athletes that we can, focus on developing them in the best version of them, and get them a free education at one of the best schools in the country. You know what? If our guys graduate from a degree from here and they're such good football players that at the end of their career they can transfer like some of our guys have and earn that kind of money, then I'm all for it. And I think that's something that we can't hide from and set that up for them. So I'm about developing players, getting them to be the best version of them, hopefully get them to make money in the NFL. Maybe that's make money at the Power 5 level when they graduate from here, or maybe that's just become a really successful businessman because of the degree they've earned at UC Davis. So we're all about developing guys and hopefully get them to be the best version of them.
Well, you're doing it at all the levels. Obviously, Danny Whelan kicking with the Green Bay Packers right now. Keelan Doss has been with the league, latest team with the Chargers. Jake Mayer's playing up in the CFL with Calgary. So you've got the professional level. Obviously, had a couple really good players from last year's team transfer on. Teddy Buchanan is heading to Cal where you were. Chuba Ma'ai is headed to Arizona. We know Callan McCassels went to Tennessee last year. But beyond that, just for most of the players, they're playing their 4 years, they're graduating, and they're going on and being great players in our community. So, I mean, you really kind of touched on all three levels right there, Coach.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think instead of complain about that or asking for it to be different, I think that's something we should celebrate. That hey, if you want to go to the NFL, you can come to Davis and do that. Yeah. If you think you should have been recruited to a Power 5 school, well, then come here, play your butt off. And maybe you can graduate with a top 5 degree. And if you got eligibility left, shoot, man, go to Tennessee, go to Cal, go to Arizona if you think that's what you need to do. And at the same regard, if your football career ends at Davis, then you're going to set yourself up for a great career. So, I mean, for me, that was a big thought process for my wife and I and our family was, hey, Davis is one of those special places where I feel like I can coach football at a really high level with really good players, but also a community and a school and a level that still looks at things the way that I really think collegiate athletics should stay, is that we're going to develop these young men and young women into the best versions of them and hopefully develop a process where if they do create revenue, we can share that with them. And that's hopefully what we can get to at some point.
Yeah, no question. It all kind of starts with Jim Soker and what he laid down, and then going from Bob Foster to Bob Biggs, and it goes on and on. When you talk about UC Davis football, you really are talking about a program that spans generations and a philosophy that just isn't quite like you see most other places, if anywhere else.
No, it's really special. I think the tree that branches off from Davis, a lot of people don't realize, whether it's Mike Bellotti or Chris Peterson or Dan Hawkins or Gary Patterson or Paul Hackett to Nathaniel Hackett to a Jero Evero. I mean, there's just a lot of coaches that have come from that creation of Jim Soker to Bob Foster out to all these guys. I just worked for Justin Wilcox at Cal, who I think is one of the best men, best leaders, best head coaches in all of college football. And even he was influenced by Bob Foster when he coached for him at Cal back in the day too. So, I mean, I think you got this wide range of people that have been affected by that. And, I promised Coach Soker a long time ago and Coach Biggs that if I had an opportunity to do this, that, I would jump at it and continue the legacy that those guys started. And so I'm trying to really bridge that gap, Scott, between like the really former guys of the 60s, 70s, 80s, and the legacy of those 20 consecutive conference championships, those 38 consecutive winning seasons, and bridge that together with some of the newer groups of guys that I was involved with, whether playing in the early 2000s or coaching the last 20 years. And how can we bridge that gap between, the former and the present, and create a new UC Davis and a new era that can push that legacy and also try to take another step to hopefully winning championships in the Big Sky and maybe one day being in Frisco. So I think we can bridge that together and try to do something special.
Yeah, no, that would be great. That's the ultimate destination spot, would be Frisco, home of the national championship. And, for your team upcoming, obviously you do have Land Larison coming back, one of the best football players at any level of college football, and Miles Hastings back at quarterback. And he's a guy who you recruited when you were here. So you recruited Land too. So you know both of these guys very well. And obviously they're going to be focal points for the offense moving forward next year.
Yeah, Land, it's actually really interesting for me. I mean, even Trent Tompkins, Josh Gale, Winston Williams. There's just a lot of guys on the offense. CJ Hutton, Abe Del Real, Julian Alessi. It was funny, we came back and I'm thinking, man, it's through COVID and all these recruiting years. I was a part of these guys' recruitment, to see them now and where they're at. I mean, to watch Land Larison, who was really a quarterback in high school, and to see what he's doing right now as a running back, or Trent Tompkins, who was a quarterback in high school, to see what he does at wide receiver. Really proud of those guys. Specifically, Land is a pretty tremendous player and a real special athlete, and feel very honored that he's chosen to stay and finish his career at Davis, and that means a lot to me, and his faith in me and the faith in Davis means a lot, and I think he's got a chance to be one of the best players in the country at any level, and have a chance to get paid to do this one day, and hopefully has a shot to get that Walter Payton Award. And we're sure going to feed him the ball as much as we can to get him there. And I think Miles has a chance to finish off his career in the right way at quarterback, and again surround those guys with some really good players and good guys up front, and a great defense led by Matt Coombs and Rex and all those guys over there. I think we got a chance to have take a run at this thing.
Yeah, no doubt. Building off a team that was 7-4 last year, many, including yours truly, thought should have been a playoff team, got snubbed. And that always puts a little chip on your shoulder too, getting ready for the next season, I would imagine. Not that you were here last year, but obviously you can understand that feeling.
Well, I think from afar, I always watch all the Davis games and root for the guys, but we've talked as a team, and I think at the end of the day, you gotta take care of business, and I know they feel like they left some games there that you just can't do in this conference, and feel like you're gonna, leave it up to the voters and leave it up to the committees, and instead of doing that, take care of Eastern Washington and Northern Arizona last year, and you're probably not having those conversations. So I know they feel like they got something to prove, that every single game is important. At the end of the day, it's about us. Our opponents are nameless and faceless. If we just play as well as we can, and have our best when our best is needed, we feel really confident that we can compete with a lot of teams and hopefully have enough W's at the end of the year to get into that tournament and then take our run at it.
Yep, no doubt. And it'll be another fun year, a 12-game schedule next year. Of course, your good friend, Andy Thompson, head coach over at Sacramento State. So that'll make for an interesting Causeway, Coach. We'll have plenty of time to talk about that. The good thing for you with spring practice being over now, everybody can watch the Aggie men and women in the Big West Conference tournament this week.
Absolutely. I mean, two coaches that I really admire and look up to. Coach Les has done a great job with the men's program. I was talking to him recently just about the program when he first got here. I was here to watch him take that over, and what he's done with it is tremendous. And, Jen is obviously we have a deep connection because her connection with Coach Soker and the impact he had on her program. So, everyone needs to get out and support our men's and women's teams. And I think they're both going to take a run at it, Scott. So I think everyone should look out for the Ags in the Big West.
Yeah, hopefully we're cutting down 2 sets of nets coming up this week. That would be amazing. And Tim, you're right in the line with Jen and Jim, another great coach for the UC Davis athletic department. And we're looking forward to another great year of Aggie football coming up. We appreciate your time tonight.
No, thanks for having me, Scott. Anytime, and go Ags.
Go Ags. All right, that's Tim Plow, football coach at UC Davis. That's going to do it for our final edition this season of the Aggie Magazine Show. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to watch the Aggie women play at noon on Wednesday. The men, 8:30 on Friday. The women's game, ESPN Plus. You can watch all the games there. You can listen on KDVS 90.3 as well. Greg Wong with the call does a great job. And then Friday night, we'll have the game, Sacktown Sports, 11:40. It'll be on ESPN2 as well. My thanks to Jay Johnson helping out. And as always, go Axe.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball